Hey people, if you're watching this, you're probably a fan of the RØDECaster Pro like I am. Unfortunately, this is my second unit in the last 3 days. The first one I sent back to B&H because it didn't come with this little collar, which is extremely important. It's for the power cord, and it keeps the power cord from dislodging during any movement of the machine. They were able to rush me out a second unit. I had to get my credit card charged a second time, but I was okay with that. And unfortunately, yesterday during our first test podcast, about 14 minutes in, we had a complete crash. Actually, the software froze up and none of the buttons, none of the functions on the board would work at all. The only way that we could get the machine to restart was to unplug it. The power button wouldn't even work. The other thing that was really a big disappointment was in that process, there was no capture of the data up to that point. You actually lose all your data once that software crashes, at least for that current podcast that you were trying to record. So, big fail, very uncool. Here it is, frozen. Here, move the slider, Coleman. So after hitting the channel 1 button, the screen is frozen. Now try the on-off switch. And the on-off switch doesn't work. You get nothing. And so the only way to reset it is to actually unplug it. Go ahead, turn it back on. And now we're back to the normal levels.
So it's working, getting function. There you go. Froze up again.
Just by hitting 1?
That's it. Just by trying to open channel 1. All I really did was went to the Bluetooth here, went to the home, and then tried to open channel 1. So it worked that time. And there it goes. It's frozen.
Frozen again?
Yeah, nothing.
It's frozen again. Nothing works.
Not even the power button.
Okay. When I go to settings and hit the sounds, you can see that all the pads are blank. Now I did update this to the most recent firmware. I think it's 1.1.2 or whatever. And nothing. Pads are essentially dead. I can record something to them. But I had previously just changed one pad, and now I don't have anything. So there's definitely some issues with this box. So this one looks like it's going to be going back. So now I'm going to do a factory reset here. Let's see what happens. Okay, so that reset the clock. 8:36. March 31st, 2019. Yes. So I don't know why that means a factory reset means it clears the pads or what. I guess I got to talk to Rode about that. But we reset it to the factory twice because of that issue we were having with the software locking up. I can't get it to lock up right now, but trust me, it not only locks up, it doesn't record any of the podcasts that was going on during the lockup. So you lose all your material to that point, and you can't shut off the unit. The on-off button won't work, and you have to unplug it. So hopefully this is all just firmware, but it's pretty distressing. Also, I went back to my Mac. I plugged in the USB and re-downloaded the companion software, including the firmware. And when you look at the firmware update, it says that your firmware is up to date, running version 1.1.2, which is the latest version. And then when you go to the companion app, which is supposed to program the buttons, the buttons come up, but they're blank. And when you hit them, it doesn't give me any options. It takes me to a random shared file. Not sure why that is. I hit any of these buttons. This is really screwed up, really bad. So I can't reprogram the buttons because the companion app doesn't go where it should go. It says that I have the latest firmware. We've performed a factory reset. I assume that's a safe thing to do, but who knows with all the bugs I have now. This unit is really turning out to be one big fail. Tried to redo the keypads and nothing. So gonna have to recontact Rode and probably B&H and possibly be sending this whole unit back. I wonder if you can even update the keypads on a Mac. And I also wonder if when you do a factory reset, do you actually clear the pads altogether? That may have been what happened, is the factory reset cleared the pads, and then because I'm using a Mac, I have no way to restore the pads. But I still don't think that's explaining why when I bring up the companion app, it's not allowing me any way to reprogram. So, big disappointment.